I don't know. I don't know yet. I think maybe later today we have news. But if you ask me just my feeling, good news or bad news, I am more on bad news than on good news. That's my feeling. What the player felt. Harry Kane leaving a match the way he did it. He didn't think twice. Didn't took him 2 seconds to realize the severity of the situation. Some opinions from the medical department before the results of the tests. I don't think that we are going to have good news. But the reason why we are here is because of the beautiful FA Cup. And in relation to that, we can say that no Middlesbrough for Harry Kane.
When you say you fear bad news, do you fear a grade 2 tear of the hamstring as opposed to a grade 1 tear?
I'm not great on grades. I think I'm great on experience and feelings. And again, I'm not expecting very good news. I think we are going to lose him for some period, and because I am totally convinced of that, I can anticipate that I don't want to be here with you crying every press conference now. Everybody knows who he is, what he means for the team, what he means for the fans, for the club, his quality, the routines that the team has playing with him. Every minute of every game that he doesn't play, we miss him. So the matches that he's not going to play with us, we are going to miss him. But I don't want to be crying here all the time. I want to focus now on the players that are available. About Sonny, I just cried once. For the 3 matches he was not playing, I was always avoiding to speak about Sonny. So now Son is back. I prefer to speak about Son than to speak about Harry.
Do you feel you have enough cover then for Harry Kane?
We have what we have. That's the squad that started the pre-season in this case. That's the squad we are having on the season. Of course, everybody knows again the importance of Harry in the squad. I think irreplaceable. If you think about one player by one player, I think he's irreplaceable. But we have to try solutions in relation to the players that we have.
Does this have an impact at all on transfer plans for the month? Would you like to bring in a striker as a backup?
Again, I come to work with the players that are available, and I'm not thinking about the market. I think my job is to do what I did today, what I'm going to do tomorrow, which is to work, in this case, to work with a small group of players, because the players that are playing are the players permanently on recovering, and recovering is not enough, because if you look at the number of injuries in the Premier League players over the past 2 weeks, you realize that recovering is not enough. The players that are more protected are the players that belong to squads with so many solutions that there is also a little space for rotation. But I don't want to speak about it. I think, of course, the market is open until the end of January. Everybody in the club wants to give the team the best conditions, but at the same time, the world doesn't end in the end of this season. We have a few months until the end of the season to fight, obviously, for results, but nothing ends in the end of the season. The end of the season is just the end of a first period. And yesterday I was, just as an example, yesterday I was watching the Liverpool match, and I think I was watching the best team in the world in this moment. I think they are. And then I Googled it just to confirm. Jurgen arrived October 2015. October 2015. 16, 17, 18, 19, and now 20. I think 8 transfer windows. I think lots of players leaving, lots of players coming, and even more important than that, time for him to put his philosophy, to put his training methods, to put his fingerprints. Beautiful results as a consequence of fantastic work, step by step, phase by phase. I think in the first season they finished something like 6 or 8 or something like that, and 4 years later they are not just the world champions. I think they are the best team in the world in this moment. So no panic, calm. I have experience. The club has lots of experience. Mr. Levy has lots of experience. Calm. But calm doesn't mean that we don't want to win the next match. The next match, we always want to win.
Do you think that Liverpool example is a good example for football, that not everything has to be so instant? And how far away do you think Tottenham is as a club from being at Liverpool's level?
No, I don't want to compare ourselves with Liverpool. I don't want to do that, and that's not the objective of my comment. The objective of my comment was just to say that calm. And one thing is teams and squads that are basically in the end of a cycle. Some others, they are in a transformation from one cycle to another one. Some others are just in the beginning of a period, of an era at the maximum potential. And these are different scenarios. So we have to be calm, and I think we have the right people to be calm with the right experience.
How is Ndombele, and what have you said to him about his injuries and what he can give to the team?
In this moment he can't give nothing because he's injured. What he can give is what he gave against Norwich, which was clearly a very, very good performance. Very, very good. That show clearly his potential and what he can give to the team, and how much the team misses him when he's not available. That is what he can give us, is exactly what he gave us against Norwich. By being injured, we have just to wait. But since the beginning of the season, he's having problems, and when I arrived, he was injured, and now I think around 6 or 7 weeks after I arrived, he's injured again. So no continuity in his development. The talent is obviously there, but no consistency. And when a player comes from another country, until he adapts really to what the Premier League is, needs consistency, needs minutes, needs playing, and unfortunately not being able to do that.
A final one on Christian Eriksen. I know you've had a few questions about him, but can you see any situation that he gets sold in this window, he leaves mid-season?
I don't know. And I'm being honest with you, I don't know. You know the situation. In this moment he can he can agree with any club for the end of the season. That's one option. Another option is a club and himself want to do a deal in January, but in that situation, our club is in control. We have obviously the control of the situation, and another possibility is he stays. So in this moment he is here. In this moment is our player. So I can say Harry Kane, Dombele, not at Middlesbrough. I can say Christian at Middlesbrough. Thank you.
Dan, do you want a question?
Jose, how impressed have you been by Troy Parrott, and is Harry's potential absence an opportunity for him to play for the first team, or is it too soon for him?
I think too soon. I think one thing is potential, and another thing is conditions to express potential. And I think he needs this time. Having minutes, being involved, that's one thing. Another thing is what you call the direct replacement. For the direct replacement, he needs to work. You know, I'm not saying that there are many different processes of a player to develop. In some cases, the loans are very good. You have the example of Harry Kane, you have the example of Tammy Abraham. In other cases, no need of a loan, because the development on the father club is more natural. So I think next step for him is to sign a new contract with the club for a long term, and then everybody together to decide what is the best for his development. Because in this club we care about our players, and when you say we care, is also to find the best pathway to develop.
And do you think he's got an opportunity to play at Middlesbrough on Sunday?
It's possible. It's possible.
And just to clarify, when you said for some players it's a loan, and for some players it's a parent club, do you have an idea of which one of those would suit Troy?
He's 17 years old. I don't think at the age of 17 it's good for you to go on a loan to a championship club or to go abroad to another country. My feeling is one thing is when you have 20, if you need that step when you are 19, 20. Another thing is when you are 17. 17 you are a baby. 17 you just have to be in your father club, where you feel at home, where you are at home, where you train with the first team, where you develop with the first team, where some minutes will arrive, like it happened against Burnley, and step by step, but not in a situation where we say Harry Kane is injured and Parrott is the man to resolve our problems.
Okay, go to Charlie.
I wondered if other young players then thought would be involved in the Skip.
Yeah, everybody is going to be involved. If you go to our squad and no Danny Rose, no Ben Davies, no Hugo Lloris, no Harry Kane, I don't know if Eric Dyer will be ready by his ill to come back. When you say no, you have to say Skip, Tanganga and Parrott and the young boys in. That's for sure. But sometimes when you say young guys or people that is not playing a lot, and you connect FA Cup not important, FA Cup the right space to give opportunities to players, that's not the case. FA Cup, very important, by the history of the club, by the connection, by the memories, by what means for everyone at the club, every fan. FA Cup is very, very important. So these young players coming for the match against Middlesbrough doesn't mean that FA Cup is not important for us. FA Cup is important for us. We are going to play every minute of the FA Cup with the maximum potential that we have available. And if somebody knock us out of the competition, I want that to happen in the maximum of our potential, commitment, effort, because FA Cup is a very important competition.
Go to James.
So in terms of fatigue, how close is the team to its limits at the moment?
I don't want to give headlines. I want to try to play nice and easy, so I don't want to give headlines. I don't want to speak about the relation between so many injuries in the Premier League and the calendar. But it's obvious that you look to some of our players, and of course there is fatigue. But the squad is not big. Some players injured. Then we had also 3 players suspended in the middle match, which I call the Boxing Day, the middle match in between pre-Christmas and New Year. Now we recover some players, but we lose others. Of course there is fatigue. But of course they are professionals, and of course we have commitments, and of course we don't want to say this match is not important, that competition is not important, so we have to go again. So again, to Middlesbrough, are the kids going to be involved? Of course they are going to be involved, but they are not going to be involved to rest somebody. They are going to be involved because this is the moment. So that's it.
The Champions League last season was what made it so memorable last year for Spurs. Do you hope that the FA Cup could do something similar this season?
We have to try. Again, I repeat, FA Cup for me is very important. And when I say for me Jose, but I say for me Tottenham head coach, I say for me as a representative of the Tottenham supporters. That's what I am in this moment. And in every position, I think the FA Cup is very, very important. And the FA Cup is the only competition where when you start it, you have the same chances of winning as everybody else. Of course, we are miles away from the Wembley semi-finals too, no? Mm-hmm. From the Wembley semi-finals or finals, we are miles away. But we go to this first match, and we have to go with everything we have, with the passion that the FA Cup itself demands, with the passion that the fans demands, the history of the club, the connection with the FA Cup. I think it's very important to give everything, and I think this is what the players are going to do.
Jose, Paulo Dybala was someone that Tottenham were reported to be very interested in over the summer. Is there anything you can say about him, whether or not Tottenham are willing to go in again?
I cannot tell you anything about Dybala. I just can't. If something happened or was to happen or why it didn't happen, I don't know. That was pre-season.
Rob.
Jose, has there been any progress on the new contract for Tanganga? Is his deal's running out soon?
I think the club is always interested in his young players. I cannot tell you specifically if it's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month. I'm not in conditions to tell you that. I'm in conditions to tell you that the club is always thinking about a project for the young players, and these young players that are with the first team now, going on loan, don't going, staying, but the club is always worried about them. So I presume that Tanganga will be a player to sign a new contract. Yes.
You want one more, and then we'll finish with Emma with one.
Is Jack Clark coming to your thinking this weekend as his loan spell at Leeds is finished?
Yeah, I know. I know that he's finished, but the structure is looking for another loan where he can play, because in this half season he was not playing much, and the objective of a loan is for the players to play. A loan without minutes is a frustration loan. So one is enough. So the next one, we must be sure that is a club and a manager that really wants him to play.
Okay, Emma with the last question.
Jose, hello. I just wondered your thoughts on Middlesbrough, because when the draw was made, perhaps it would have looked as if it was an easy game for Tottenham. Now their form has improved, and Tottenham obviously going into the game maybe with their form not as good as it had been.
Easy draw for somebody that just arrived in England, just land in Stansted and feel that can be easy. For somebody that is here, like me, long time, and like for all of you, I presume, English people, there is no easy draws. The beautiful cup is beautiful also because of the surprise, also because of the way teams with less potential look to the other ones. And when I look to the championship in this moment, I don't see the championship of 2004 when I come to England for the first time. Complete different championship. The difference between the championship teams and the Premier League teams are very, very short. You can see they are promoted, and when they are promoted, there is no more the team that cannot win a match in the Premier League. The teams are basically the same. So for me to go to Norwich, to go to Southampton, or to go to Middlesbrough, I don't feel any difference on that. In the top of it, they are in a very good run. 4 victories in a row, 1 goal conceded. I think it's going to be obviously a very difficult match.
Right, guys, if the camera's off now, please. Thank you.
I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich.